If you've been around Renfro Valley much this afternoon before showtime, you notice an old fellow going around with a banjo under his arm. Now, that's to make you think that he's part of the regular Renfro Valley show. That's old Joe Clark. That's an old-timer that wants to get in with us as much as he can. We hate to turn him down, poor old fellow. He's out here now, standing around the corner of the door, just waiting for us to invite him in, so we're going to have to put him on. I just want to tell you one thing now. He tries. He does the best he can, so please don't make him feel bad by laughing at him. And now head him this way, boys. Give him a shove, and here comes old Joe Clark.
Thank you, Mr. Lair. Like to never got your upon my word and honor. If I ain't had the worst time today I've ever had in my life. I was walking around outside, you know how fellers skife around out there, and was on my way in here, really, and I got detained out there for a little bit. I was out there watching the young'uns spark, and just as I was ready to come in the door, why, don't you know that some old lady, she gouged her buddy in the ribs, and she said, "Look at that. Call me one of them bats." She said, "I bet that ain't never been married." Well, I want that woman to know if she come in here that this has been married. Because that has been married so many times, wedding bell sounds like an alarm clock to me. But you know, I get a kick out of seeing these here young gals and boys a sparking. I used to be in my days one of the sparkingest sparkers that ever sparked a spark. But my spark's about sparked out now. Yes, sir, I was really a Romeo and Juliet back in my days. Used to go to see my gals. Well, I'll tell you, we didn't spark like they do nowadays. Hope to my die if they don't put a full week in it. They meet one today, marry tomorrow, divorce the next, and start looking for another. But now, in our days, it was a different calendar altogether. We'd go to see our gals. It was on Saturday night. That's the only time. And, boy, we had the best time. I never will forget. We'd go in there in the setting room. I think they call it the living room now, but we wasn't dead in the room. They shoved us off in. I never will forget the times we'd sit there, you know, and that old clock made the prettiest music that ever I heard in my life. Great big old grandfather's clocks set over there against the wall. Prettiest music way in the night, about 8 o'clock, it'd sound off. Tick tock, sound just exactly like it's saying, "Take your time, take your time." But I was making progress all the time. Nowadays, the march of time's against the young'uns. They got a little old clock, it ain't that big, sitting on the head of the mantel board up there, hollering, "Get together, get together, get together, get together." But I'll tell you, I like to go back in my sparking days. Of course, that's far back. I'd never get back before I'd have to be put away now. But I'll tell you what, I love to think of them days. But you know what? This week I have had the awfulest time on earth, though. I've tried my best to quit smoking. These here advertisements of that smoking business has about scared me to death, and I had me some snuff, and I lost it. I got in a rush somewhere or another, and I thought I had a wart on my heart. But I ain't. I got another one over here just like it. But I have been tore up all to pieces this week. Boy, it's been so dry here for about 2 or 3 weeks. I never seen it so dry. Why, it's been so dry this week, I seen 2 trees fighting over one dog up there in my yard. Don't tell him, lady. Let him figure it out for himself. Well, to tell you the truth, I'm covered up in chiggers. I'm telling you, I have dug and scratched till I'm about dug all to pieces. Chiggers, can't they get into some of the confoundedest places on this earth? If I had me a cob and hit dipped in turpentine, I'd set this feller afar in the bend of my knee. But the feller has to be awful careful where he throws cobs around here dipped in turpentine. But I'll tell you, I'm looking forward to the fall of the year, because that's when around here, you know, that we take our corn and make a little herb medicine out of it. And, well, I never heard of it a curing nothing, but it'll put you in a shape and in the mind that you don't care. Now, last year, I made some of the best that ever I tasted of. Called it block and tackle. One drink out and you walk a block and tackle anything. They made some it was last year, I believe. Yeah, it was, when I got into it so bad. I never will forget that. I had that bunch of running off up there on the side of the hill, and I thought, well, now, I'd better get up there and see how it's doing, and went up there, and the barrels was ready to go. Run to the house to get my sugar, and there wasn't a drop of sugar on the place. That old lady of mine had used both the sack of sugar I'd give her to use and my 100 pounds of sugar, too. Well, I didn't know what on top side of this earth to do. And I was sitting there looking through the Sears and Roebuck catalog. You know how a feller look at the book and read and rest. And I seen in there where Sears and Roebuck would sell you 25 pounds of rock candy for $5. Well, that's the same thing as sugar, except it ain't never been beat up. And I tore that page out. It was one of them slickings anyhow. And I folded it up, and I put R-U-double-Ush on it and rushed it to 'em. So I sat around for a few days a-waiting and sweating out the mailboy to get there, and pretty soon I seen him coming up the hall, and I met him at the Gap. And I grabbed that great big old box, and I took off upside the hill, because no, if the old lady ever found out there's anything on earth like sugar, she'd souse it in a pickle or a cucumber or something and ruin it. So I took it upside the hill and cut the top out of the box, throwed the top off the barrel, dumped box and all in there, because anything you throw in there and stir in it makes it that much better. And I stirred it up, and if I didn't come the nearest to ruining everything in Renfro Valley that year of anything I'd ever done in my life. I didn't taste of that confounded stuff they sent me from Sears. And instead of them sending me 25 pounds of rock candy, they sent me 25 pounds of rock alum. Of course, I didn't pucker things up around home there for a while. And I was so sorry for my preacher that Sunday morning. Poor old thing, he couldn't preach a sermon, so he got up and had to whistle it. There are new things like that, you know. Well, boys,